Dungeons of Drakkenheim for 5th edition. Look at that. That's the city of Drakkenheim right there. Wizard fighting off all kinds of eldritch horror and terror. So we're here, Bocho's brother, back with another one for you. Dungeons of Drakkenheim and potentially its expansion in the package box there. We'll see. After we just go with a little overview, first of all, what is Dungeons of Drakkenheim? Well, an eldritch storm of falling stars devastated the city on that woeful eve, leaving behind a meteor that would have lasting effects. 15 years later, Drakkenheim is a dismal urban wasteland contaminated by otherworldly magic and haunted by hideous monsters. Fantastic wealth, lost knowledge, and powerful artifacts lie ready for the taking by adventurers brave enough or foolish enough to venture into the ruins. However, even those who survive the dangers of Drakkenheim may not return, unmarked by the terror. So these meteors, if you've seen the video and purchased this product, you know these meteors came from outer space, crashed into the city of Drakkenheim, and kind of mutated the area and the region around the city with this wicked stuff called Delirium. And Delirium, I kind of cross coordinate with Chardolin from Icewind Dale, or even Shadow Steel from Grimhollow. And so that's going to be very present throughout this Drakkenheim book. Chardolin is this violet, purple, mauve kind of crystal, and everything it touches it contaminates. So something you'll be seeing. Let's check out the campaign overview. Dungeons of Drakkenheim is a fantastic adventure set in a Gothic Renaissance ruined city. The campaign is designed with 4-player characters in mind, so adjust accordingly for smaller or larger groups. You can play Drakkenheim as a series of loosely connected exploration quests, or an unpredictable narrative filled with faction conflict. The material herein will challenge characters from 1st to 13th level. So pretty cool. That means we're talking about not just a module, but a full-on campaign around the city of Drakkenheim. Now, since I'm playing in my Grimhollow world, I would put Drakkenheim kind of where Altenheim is, perhaps, in Grimhollow. And yeah, I mean, up to 13th level, that's fantastic. That's where our party is at right now. So good to see Dungeons and Dragons 5e content that can take you up to the higher levels, because I know they often tell you people will hop off or groups will break up before you get to the high 20th level, but I'm all about that high tier, fistfuls of dice, you know, doing math, working your brain out, and doing more creative stuff than just swinging for a D8 or claw bite kind of situations and scenarios. So this is the original book here, the Dungeons of Drakkenheim. We will see momentarily what is in this package over here. Let's just finalize this one out with the exploration. Characters embark on a dangerous expeditions into monster-filled ruins, haunted streets, decrepit gardens, shattered mage towers, baroque cathedrals, and ancient castles to plunder treasures and solve mysteries. The interaction: 5 rival factions clash over the ruins of Drakkenheim, a tangled web of secrets, subterfuge, and sabotage awaits when the factions' opposing objectives and your character's personal goals come into conflict. And I did a little video on this book previously, so you can find it on the Bocho's Brothers channel. This is a collaboration between the Dungeon Dudes out of Canada and Ghostfire Gaming, an Australian US collaboration now. So Drakkenheim, a very cool book. It came with spells, weapons, items, monsters. Fantastic art as always. So, it's been 5 minutes. Let's go. Without further ado, let's do some unboxing and packaging, as this just arrived to Europe. I believe it arrived to the States and other locations a bit earlier. And it looks to be coming and showing up in excellent condition. Sebastian Crows. So if you've watched the Dungeon Dudes, they played through this campaign. It was originally their homebrew campaign, and they decided to make it into a book and several books. They've also come out with a monsters guide, which will be coming out later, perhaps in 2025. Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim. Let's see what this is all about. Kickstarter. I swore off the Kickstarters. Said I wasn't going to do anymore. But, you know what? I just had to go for it with this one. It comes with a poster map. Oh my gosh. Die Purple Worm. What is this creature? I never watched the entire series when they played, but man, oh man, look at this. Is that Sebastian Crow there? And this creature, that's not a purple worm. That's something special from this Drakkenheim world and these abomination creatures. That looks like that could be some sort of a Saguahin, if that's how you pronounce them. Very cool. Very cool poster that comes with as a Kickstarter. We also have the Guide to Drakkenheim Player's Journal. That comes in this plastic. So it's in great condition. Chart Your Destiny. This exquisitely designed player journal helps you to consolidate your character's information and campaign details as they journey through the lands of Drakkenheim. Included in the player's journal, you'll find 3 Drakkenheim-themed character sheets, including a page tracking the factions met during your adventures and space for recording Delirium inventory, mutations, and madness. So let's talk about Delirium and mutations and madness for just a second. We very much use that in our current campaign, Grim Hollow, because as you get to the higher levels, hit points, they get high. The challenges are not as challenging. But if you put something like sanity, corruption, mutations, madness, transformations into your campaign, that will take your D&D 5e to a whole new level. So if you want to play high level advanced Dungeons and Dragons, my friends, put some of that in there. Characters that want to tamper and fiddle around with that stuff. And here we have 5e Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim with that same poster image as the cover. And on the back, we get Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim. The world of Drakkenheim is no more. This is, I think, well, you can check that out. Kind of general overview. Seems similar to what I've been doing a lot of reading. So you can check that out. Pause the video if you want to read it yourself. I just kind of do these videos to give you an idea of what's out there. If you're considering getting one of these books or something. So, but I'm going to need a razor. So let's pause it there while I open this up. Okay, just let me get that open there for you. Seal, saran wrap. Look at that. These guys know what they're doing. They know their business. It's a quality book. Feels solid. No damage to the corners. No scratches. No scuff marks. No funny wobbly bindings. It's happened in the past. You get something and then you discover the binding gets a little wonky. Not with these guys. And there you have it. The unveiling. The grand opening of Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim. And here we have, oh my goodness, a whole new map. Look at this. Westmar. Netherwind. What is that? Terrain, the Southern Reach, Illyria. Now, I've been telling you all this stuff about Etheris and Grim Hollow, but now with the combination of both these books, we may just have to make all new characters from first level and discover the world of Drakkenheim together. Let me know if you're watching any YouTube videos about Drakkenheim campaigns, the Dungeon Dudes. Here you have it, Monty Martin and Kelly McLaughlin. Those are the guys behind Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim. They are the Dungeon Dudes, and they put some credits. There's the Ghostfire Operations team there. See if we recognize any names in here. Yeah, some of these guys we know. Absolutely. All right, and what's in this book? The world of Drakkenheim, the continent, the region, the gods, Amethyst Academy. You can just kind of get a general idea. What excited me most about this product, which kind of pushed me over the edge, was the Drakkenheim characters, and with the new subclasses and the new classes, Apothecary, Barbarians. Let's check it out. To whom it may concern, there has been an incident. I just want you to know that this time it is not entirely my fault. My name is Sebastian Crow. You probably know me as the greatest sorcerer on the continent. If the stories you heard involve a rat problem in Drakkenheim, that was the other Sebastian Crow. So here is the deal, my friends, and I have been working diligently to contain the horrible contamination within Drakkenheim, and have been doing an exceptional job. Now, before you congratulate me, you should have known that some other not-so-great people thought it would be fun to trade delirium all over the continent. The haze is spreading, people are dying, and everyone keeps yelling at me to make decisions, and it all sounds really important, and I'm just not well equipped to deal with such drastic decision making alone. Furthermore, the monsters are getting really, really bad, and I have almost died many times. Despite my vast magical powers, I can usually only manage to be in a few places at once, not everywhere. The Academy Directorate seems upset. The Hooded Lanterns seem upset. At this point, I think it's safe to assume that everyone is upset. So I'm begging you, whether you are one of those brute warriors from the Isles of Skye, or Netherwind, or a great commander from the Civil War, maybe a fancy bard from Caspia, or a lizard-riding ranger from Terrene, just come to Drakkenheim, please. We need you. I know the apothecary are all hiding in your labs mixing potions, but we have enough issues going on, and we need your brains in the matter post haste. So come to Drakkenheim. The air is toxic, the water is contaminated, and you can't sleep within a few miles of the city. But the smartest man I ever knew once said, "What's the worst that could happen? Kindly, SC Sebastian Crow." So that's a cool little entry. We got to find out more about this Sebastian Crow character and watch some Dungeon Dudes Drakkenheim. I will flip now through fairly quickly just so you can get a general idea. Like I said, you're going to see violet, you're going to see the color purple, you're going to see shades of mauve perhaps on every page, as you do with Drakkenheim. That looks like a historical timeline we got going on here. And you have the religion and the gods. So that could be something different from Etheris, as Etheris is a world where the gods have died and disappeared, as well as our friends at Critical Role. They have the gods that are outside of contact. Religions, plenty of background on the different religions in the game, so playing a cleric could be quite interesting. The Orem Strange, and then we get into some of the academy here. We have the Academy of Mages, this wizard making concoctions and potions, and the Edicts of Lumen, Articles of Neutrality. This could be some sort of faction. We'll have to dive in and read this. Everyday life. Everyday life. Looks like there's some crime and punishment throughout the continent. Justice exists to serve the interests of the powerful and protect the wealthy, rather than meting out what is right and fair. Well, she's. I think we can all identify with a little bit of that these days. So very cool to be able to uh, do some role playing, jam session, play some games. They call it escapism these days because you got to have some fun too, right? Look at this picture. Now, if that isn't an amazing haunted house with Delirium, I don't know what is. And we're at the chapter 2, the Continental Gazetteer. So we saw that map at the beginning. This section will explain more about these areas, the population, the history, the dukes, the queen, the NPCs that could be met. If you're a player, maybe you don't want to spend too much time here, this is kind of more for GMs. Or if you're just a fan of the area, the Drakkenheim world and genre, this would be fun to get greater detail. We got maps of cities, different cities, Elviria, the military, the history, the factions. So you're really getting a good in-depth guide if you want to bring, more depth to your currently existing world as well. If there's not a lot on the current cities in your world, you could use these. And there they are, the contamination spreading everywhere. Factions and figures. Now we're getting into factions. It's a game that's very strong on factions and uniting with certain factions and that turning other factions against you. We love the artwork. Look at this guy. Who's this? Who is this? The Privateers, the King's Moot. Adventures in Caspia. So they give you some ideas for different quests and adventures you could go on at the different locations. Lots of NPCs to work with, the Isles of Skye. And we are about halfway through the book here with these different locations. Look at this place of magic. Liberio. And it's clerics and priests. Maps, toads, and look at that, the lion people of Orelon and the cat people. I believe they had a character, one of the players in Dungeons of Drakkenheim. There's probably some fans watching that know much more than me about the different characters, but I remember distinctly there being a black cat. Lands Beyond. And the chapter 3, the Drakkenheim characters. Look at this. Just take a moment to take a gander at that one. All right. The characters of Drakkenheim. People of the continent. The dwarves. The history. The apothecary. So now we're getting into the new class of the apothecary, which really interested me. I love serums. I use this picture to give the characters something called a serum of sanity, which helps them get 1 sanity back temporarily for 10 hours. I don't know if it's in this book, but I came up with that myself to help with corruption and sanity, having an apothecary that can help set those things back. They have a spell list. The game comes with its own spells as well. We have the apothecary occult practices, so maybe they're up to mischief. Then we're talking about transformations, exorcisms. Whoa, very cool pictures. And of course the Parthenon. Just look at this Parthenon. How will you say that? Pathogenist? Yeah, pathogenist there. Very cool. I like to have plagues and diseases contaminating the land. Just look at that. This half giant and this half contaminated character looking for loot in Drakkenheim. Barbarians is the next section. Look at that weapon there. Brutal strength, imbued by the gods. So some excellent subclasses. Bard. The Bard is here. College of the Doomsayers. Clerics. You got the Shifting Shadows, the Shadow Domain. And Druids, Fighters. Just going to flip through fairly quickly now because we're not going to be taking a look at absolutely every page. But we got our Monks. Way of the Arcane Hand. Any of you tried out that new 5.5 Monk? They're pretty cool. I like combining that 2024 Dungeons and Dragons with the 2014 Dungeons and Dragons. Mix and match. It's all about the mixing and matching to find what's just right for you and your group. The Urban Ranger. It'd be cool to see some stronger Rangers. Those Rangers didn't have so many impressive things unless you're in a campaign that is specialized around what they are specialized in. Warlocks, there's something for everybody. And we may go into these more in depth, but this is just to get an idea of the artwork, what the book contains, see if it's right for you. Get in touch with those guys. I believe they're in D&D Beyond as well now, so you could get it PDF of the book. So I'm excited to get at it, starting to make some of these characters. Look at that. These are like Delirium contaminated Bigby's hands down in the dungeons. And the magic of Drakkenheim. More contaminated spells, which is always cool. You got all the spells by class. Lots of new spells. They had cards also. If you wanted cards with the spells or weapons on them, you can get a box of cards, like playing cards, that you can give out to your characters. Even 6th level spells. See, that's why you got to get up to the higher levels, because you get all excited about all this extra content. And if you don't play the higher levels, you're never going to see a spell beyond 3rd level or 4th. So level up, you guys. Level up your game. Continental Regalia. And so I believe we have some nice... Is this magic item? 6 Swords of Caspia. The Joy Short Sword. Yeah, special magic items. Additional monsters, which is always fun. That's what we see the most of in the 5e content, is additional monsters. We don't want to ruin this for anybody who's wants to get surprised. And you still have the NPCs, the minstrels, the Academy Outcast. So pretty much everything you need to full on run a new campaign in a new campaign world that feels different from any other, called Drakkenheim, Dungeons of Drakkenheim, with very cool artwork. It's got that Ghost Fire Gaming stamp of approval, and I can tell you I'm quite happy with the whole thing. Contamination rules. We've come up with our own kind of sanity and contamination rules, but this looks very fun to get more lists of what kind of crazy zany things can be happening when you're losing your mind to the madness. There you have it. High magic, high fantasy, high shades of violet and violence in Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim. Until next time, this has been Bocho's brother doing a little book share with you. See you next time.